perspective.
Now, let's say your momentum keeps going and keeps growing, and you guys get to like a 90% or an 80% adoption within the student body for your program and your anti-mandate stance. Let's just put the hat on for the other side for a little bit. Let's say you're on the other side. You looked into studies because you're a student. You went and saw stuff, and you were reading the studies that were provided by these groups that made you believe you need to have the vax and the people around you need to have the vax and people have to wear masks. So let's say you went down that rabbit hole. What do we say to them where they actually believe I want an education too, but I believe through my own research and critical thinking, maybe it's flawed or not. It's not really for us to judge. But for them to say, I went through my stuff and I think everybody should be vaxxed and everybody should be masked. So what do we say to that group when you're basically going to have the same argument on the other side if your side becomes a bigger group? They're going to say, hey, well, I'm scared when I walk onto the campus. This it makes me very afraid. Do you try to help them? Are you trying to educate them? Do you ignore them? Do you just accept them? What's kind of the path forward so that we do get to what you're saying, which is everybody has their own choice and everybody's fine with that? How do we get to that if your side is also saying, you guys shouldn't do that? And I'm not saying you would force that onto somebody. That's how they would feel from
Yeah.
their side of the table. They'd be like, well, here's a large group that really grew big. Sam has got a lot of popularity. A lot of people are following them. But I went through the studies and I found my conclusion said this. And now they feel the way we did, just reversed. So is there a way for our side to push this forward, but still not do what they did, which is to ostracize, make them feel completely outside of the group and you can't come in? How do we
Yeah.
tackle that? Is there certainly going to be, is usually the 20%, there's usually 20% diehard who I'm not going to move on their position. Uh,
Yeah.
what, yeah, what do we say to that 20% and how do we handle that so they don't have the exact same mentality that we currently have that we're fighting against?
Well, number one, of course, don't treat people the way that the unvaccinated were treated. Like I would never ostracize people who had a different viewpoint. I talk to people every day who completely disagree with me. I spend time with people who completely disagree with my views. But I think the way forward and the point of my organization, I've done a lot of actually change my mind events. So we've gone to parks and we're not forcing people to talk to us, but we set up a stand. It has our banner, Students Against Mandates, change our minds. And we encourage and invite people to come have a conversation. And the thing is, they've done their research, we've done our research. And if we can enter into a civilized conversation and debate, maybe we can make some progress. Maybe we can teach them something that they don't know, and maybe they can even teach us something that we haven't heard about or know. And I'm always open to changing my mind. I've learned
Mhm.
a lot on this stuff, and I've looked into a lot of it at this point. So I feel like my viewpoints are pretty solidified, but they're always up to changing when new information is presented. But then it doesn't mean we treat the people who treated us badly. We don't do that back to them because then that makes us no better than them, right? So I see people wearing masks all the time, and I internally scoff, and I feel like, oh, like have you not picked up anything? Have you not read anything? How are you wearing a mask right now? But I look at them too and I'm like, you know what? They're really scared and they've been totally indoctrinated by their government. And I feel badly for them. And, if I end up chatting with them, I'm very nice and I smile and I talk to them and I try to put that aside and just treat them like a human being because they are human beings. And I do. I view them as people who've been abused too. So
I think you
that's,
nailed it there.
yes.
Yeah. I think what you nailed there is the abuse part. And when you get abused by your government, you can fall into that, I believe everything they say part.